Well, if it's marking evidence, you won't go back because they won't have it, you didn't play it on the house, play it out here.
They'll be able to see it up there, so I just want that made clear.
If you want to ask him across our eyes, I'm on direct.
Yeah, whether he does or doesn't, you can bring that out. So I don't see any need to call him now. So this
Without being considered, we
the person in the video, the person testifying?
Yes. Okay, good. And I think we've agreed that pretty much that is the next number to exhibit.
Make sure we, hey, what is this fellow's name?
Nathaniel Huntley.
Huntley? Yeah. 38. Are y'all ready for the jury?
Yes.
Yes. Are y'all gonna blank that out for?
Judge, since it was pre-marked, we did not think we needed to.
All right, let's bring the jury in.
It's up there, the red one, the other black one also. It's up on the other side of that little machine.
Your Honor, the jury is entering the courtroom.
Thank you. All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope y'all enjoyed your dinner last night, breakfast, and found the trip out to the scene to be enlightening, I suppose. For the record, we have marked a copy of the itinerary number 36 in evidence, the one you were using this morning on the bus. Also, a copy of the map is number 37 that you also used. Also, the next witness, there will be a video that both sides have stipulated to. So it is now 38 stipulated that it will come into evidence. So we marked it 38. So next to witness Huntley. I'll call you next witness, please.
State cause Nathaniel Huntley.
Step around this way. Stand in the circle, face the judge, raise your right hand.
You swear or affirm to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir. That's you, sir.
Mr. Huntley, can you say and spell your name for the court, please?
Nathaniel Huntley, Nathaniel, that's Huntley, Huntley.
And Mr. Huntley, you live in Shelby County?
Yes, sir.
And how long have you lived in Shelby County?
I've been in Shelby County for approximately 12 years.
You were living in Shelby County in January of 2016?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you live back then?
I was living in Sycamore Lake Apartments.
Do you remember what building you were living in?
Yes, building 2103.
That house was previously been marked out.
Yeah.
It's 27. Now, does this look like a map of your apartment complex?
Yes.
And you're living in what building?
2103. Right here.
I'm going to give you a red Sharpie. Can you write your name, kind of small, but on your building, next to your building? How close is the court to the jury? And what building number was that?
2103.
I'll take you back to January 22nd of that day, Mr. Huntley. Do you remember January 22nd?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember anything unusual about January 22nd?
Yes, sir.
Tell the jury what you remember.
On January 22nd, around afternoon time frame, I was at this moved into that apartment complex about 5 days prior. I was getting my belongings unpacked, and at that time I was installing my security cameras. Started from the inside and was working on going to the rooms. During that time, I did hear around, I think, 5 shots. Call.
What's up right there? You said shots. You mean gunshots?
Gunshots.
Shots.
And at that time, I did look out the window to see if I saw anything unusual. At that time, I did not notice anything when I was bad. I didn't hear anything screaming or anything like that. I returned back to working on cameras, and a few moments later, I just wanted to check back outside to see if anything changed.
Did you look back outside again?
I did look back outside.
What did you see?
I did see a vehicle that was in the parking lot. It was driving. Quite a bit away, not necessarily the immediate area where I parked my vehicle, but it was on the far side of the parking lot.
What
And
color was that vehicle?
it was a dark color. I want to say it was a dark, very dark green or black, maybe. And it was facing away from my sight, so I could see the tag of the vehicle. I could not read the tag, I just see where the tag should be. There was a lady, appeared to be a woman. The reason I say this, she was wearing a gold coat, and I did see hair and the appearance of a woman. And she was hunched over, but during that time it had snowed, and there was still snow on the ground.
I'm going to stop you. You said hunched over?
Yes.
Where was she when you started hunched over?
This time she was actually on the passenger side of the vehicle. I did not witness this lady coming out of the vehicle. She was already outside by the time I looked out the window.
Okay.
She was being hunched over. I almost assumed that she was scraping additional snow or ice off the windshield, just from the way she was looking. At that time, I didn't think anything significant had happened. But she did continue to go to the other side of the vehicle where she opened the driver's door, and it appeared that she was pulling out an object. At the time, I again wasn't thinking of anything in particular. And as she continued to bring this object out, it did resemble a body.
What happened next?
At that point, she continued to tug the person out, laid the person on the ground. The person was, of course, well, not of course, but the person was large, so she was having a hard time bringing him out. Laid him on the ground right next to the vehicle, and she proceeded to get inside the driver's seat and back away from the scene and drove away.
What did you do next?
Realizing this, by this time my wife was already living with me, trying to figure out what was going on, and I informed her that it seemed that somebody had been shot, and received a call 911 at this point.
So somebody called 911?
Yes, so I called 911. From my end, I wasn't sure, I didn't see anybody outside. It was very quiet. I didn't hear anything at all, very peaceful.
I'm going to stop right there. So, besides this one lady, did you see anybody else out there?
I did not see anything prior to this, when I started.
Okay. Did you see this lady have a gun?
I did not see the weapons.
Okay.
I didn't see anything of that nature.
So after you called 911, what do you do?
After calling 911, I did attempt to go outside as quickly as possible because I was not sure if that person was deceased. And I am a firefighter and have some training with life support, so I did decide to go out there to see if I could perform basic life support to bring that particular person back if possible.
So you went out there to try to do
I
that?
did go out there to try to do that. At that point, I'm on the phone with 911 explaining to them what was going on, and it was at that point where I realized that others had already made that call and dispatched the rear. When I got to the body, I did realize I'm not certified to announce or decide if somebody's deceased or not, but he did appear lifeless at that point. And so therefore, I continued talking with the operator, and my phone had died. So I wanted to go back into the house to attempt to get back in touch with the operator. However, by that point, Memphis police arrived as I was walking back.
And did you do anything else at the scene at that point?
At that scene, there was, I knew at that point it was a crime scene, and I could go further to start the
Was the lady that you saw close enough for you to positively identify him? Sir?
No, sir.
And you were talking about installing security cameras at the beginning of the custody.
Yes.
And where were you putting these cameras on this day?
I was installing at that time, the camera was going to be placed in the living room. I had not gotten to the outside camera. However, once I got back into the room, I was able to go back to the time frame I needed the shots. Although you cannot see any of the outside view, you can't see or you can't hear those shots along the time stamp.
And I think you may have answered my next question. Have you viewed this video before then? Okay, can you look at the screen? What's up there is what previously been marked as exhibit number 38. 38. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And who's that in that camera?
That's me.
And is that from your security camera?
Yes, it is.
You see up there where it says the date, I think it says there's an 01 in the middle, 22, and a 16, maybe kind of cut off on the far left side. Would that have been the date? Have you been able to, is that the right date?
That is correct.
Now I see 15, 20, 39. What does that mean to you?
It's 320 is the military format.
Do you know whether or not that's the correct time?
Yes, that is correct.
So you had synced it up or whatever to the correct time?
It's a sync to a time server, one line with Samsung.
Correct. Permission to publish this exhibit?
Yes, sir.
you hear the gunshots on the video? Those the same gunshots you heard that day? How's this going, Sean?
Morning, Mr. Bennett, how are you? I just have a couple of questions for you. Now, when we were watching the video and you heard the shots again on the video, did you count 5?
It actually sounded like 6.
Did it sound like 6? Can you replay that part? In your statement, you described 1 shot and then a pause and then 5 more shots. Did you hear, is that what you heard here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I just wanted to kind of get an idea of what the pause was that you were talking about.
It was a short pause, not a long extended pause, just 1 and then the rest after that.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's fine. That's good. So that it was a very brief pause that you were describing when you were walking to police. Okay. I just wanted to clarify that one point. Now, when you walked over there that time, is that when you saw the woman outside?
No, actually, that was actually time when I was looking around, just trying to double check as far as the view, as from the view I had to see if there was anything wrong. At the very end of this particular video that you're seeing, I think you did see me get up and drink that drink. Shortly after that I did, that's when I went to the window. That particular time, I noticed the victim or whoever was being taken out of the vehicle. And that's when I went outside to do what I needed to do for that.
Yeah. Yeah, Rich, just to verify that I'm looking right now. Is that when, were you initial?
Yes.
Okay. So your vantage point of where this car was somewhere right in around here? No, I'm sorry, here?
Yes.
And when you looked out the first time, right after you heard the shot, you did not see a woman out there at that time?
I did not notice. Didn't see anything was out of place. I didn't see anything.
And the woman that you saw, can you describe to me what she was wearing?
It appears she was wearing a heavy black coat, almost burly looking. It was quite a bit of distance, but it did appear to be a type of coat that a woman just wearing a coat there.
Okay. And you saw that woman wearing the black coat get out from the passenger side?
Yes, and she's left the passenger side and slowly came around back to the driver's side.
Okay. And when she came around back, did she open the back passenger door?
That part cannot recall.
Would it help you look at your statement?
Sure.
Your Honor, if I may. It'd be page 2 towards the middle top.
Yes.
Did that help you remember? So that woman opened up the back passenger door,
That's right.
leaned in, did something inside the car. And then that same woman walked around the car and opened up the driver's side door and pulled the gentleman sitting in the driver's seat out. And then that same person got in the car, and you said backed up a little bit,
Yes.
and then drove away from the scene in that Honda.
Yes.
The same person did all of that,
Yes.
and you watched it.
Griffin?
Attorney Maverick.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's all I got. All right, next, sir. I'm going to call you next witness.
Darian Melvin.
Ma'am, you come around this way. Is that the rules? Again, that part. And insert case judge, raise your right hand.
You swear or affirm? You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yeah. As you wish.
Mr. Melvin, can you say and spell your name for the court, please?
Darian Melvin, D-A-R-R-I-O-N, M-E-L-V-I-N.
And Mr. Melvin, do you know Victoria Tech?
Yes, sir.
And what do you call her? Do you know a lady named Shelby Isaac? You gotta speak up.
Yeah, I
And what do you call her?
Shay.
Were you friends with them in 2016? January of 2016?
Yeah.
I'm going to take you back to January 22nd. Remember that day? Look at this jury and tell them the first thing you remember about that day.
Well, I called Vicky to pick me up to go get a key made on my car.
Almost over there. I'm going to tell you. Who are you better friends with, Vicky or Shay?
Vicky,
And how long have you known Vicky?
about 6 years,
And how long have you known Shay?
about 2.
So you called Vicky, and what happened?
I called her, and about 15 minutes later, she showed up in my house with Shay. And
Why did you call her? What were you asking her to do?
I had to get a key made for my car, and she was my ride. Then, when they came to my house, Shay actually used the restroom.
Okay, I'll stop you there. So they come to your house. Were you inside or outside when they get there?
I was inside.
Okay. Did you walk out or did they come to the door?
I walked outside.
Okay, you walk outside, what happened?
Shay actually used my restroom. I was like, all right. Then,
Did she go in your house?
yeah, she went in my house to use the restroom.
Okay.
Then,
Did you notice anything unusual on her?
I was going to pay attention.
Okay. So she goes in your house to use the restroom. What do you do?
I stayed in the car. I waited outside for about 10 minutes. She was taking too long, so I thought she would have done number 2. So I asked Vicky, what was taking her so long? And I went in my house, and I waited about another 10 minutes. She came out.
Came out of where?
Came out of the restroom.
Okay.
And we got back in the car. Then we started going to
Did you leave your house when y'all got back in the car? So who's in the car at this point and who's sitting where? Tell us where everybody was.
Victoria, the driver. I'm in the back seat. Shay on the passenger side. And we finna go get the key to for my grandma. We finna go get the money to get my key made for my grandma. So,
And where'd your grandma work?
H&R Block.
Okay. You said Victoria was driving, right? Or Vicky was driving. What car were you in? What did it look like? Do you remember?
A little box car, a little gray box car.
What color was it?
Gray.
Okay. Was it Vicky's car? Do you know what Vicky drove back then?
No, I didn't know.
No, I mean, did you know what Vicky's car looked like?
Yeah, I know.
And were you in Vicky's car? Okay. So Vicky's driving, shaking the passenger seat, you're in the back, right? What happened?
Somebody, well, Vicky's mom kept calling her. She was like the police or like in the house. They usually come home. I was like, man, what's going on? And Shay was like, what do you nothing? We was in an apartment last night, they got the shoot.
Who said that?
Shay said,
Okay.
she was like, man, you got nothing with your tags and you got to worry about them.
And who was she looking at?
She was looking at Vicky.
Who did you think she was talking to?
50, I think. She won't talk to me.
Okay.
They want to talk to me.
And you saw Vicky that day, right? What was she acting like?
Like she wasn't bothered, like she was scared, she wasn't acting herself.
Why do you say she was scared?
Because they didn't talk too much. She just wasn't saying nothing at all.
She usually talk a lot.
Yeah.
Was she talking a lot that day? She seemed like something wrong. Okay, what happened next?
So we get my key made, then we take Shelby, drop her off
Where'd you drop her off?
by Craig,
Okay.
and she dropped me off. And that was it. And I turned on the news. I don't know time.
Okay. I told you had one job today, right? What did I tell you your job was?
Tell the truth.
Were you ever involved in the shooting on January 22nd of 2016?
No.
You see Shay in the courtroom? Huh? Look around. You have permission to let her walk around?
Sure.
Can you walk around, Mr. Moore? You walk around with her. You have a seat back on Wednesday. How long have you known Shay?
Not too good.
Come on, 1 second, Judge. There's a lot of pictures. I'm going to show you what's previously been marked as Exhibit 7.
13.
Or, excuse me, my fault. Exhibit number 13. You see that picture? Who's that?
Shay.
Who?
Shay.
Is that what she looked like back then?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Take that.
Mr. Melvin, I just have a couple questions for you. Now, in the 2 years that you knew Shelby, she always had hair, didn't she? And when I say having hair, I don't mean that she wasn't bald-headed. I mean that she had the extensions of it, right? Always. For the whole 2 years that you knew her.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My bad.
Now, did Victoria always have hair in? Or just sometimes?
90%.
So when she could,
Yeah.
she had it. Now, you said you were better friends with Vicky. And we just need you to say yes or no because they're recording. So close that she refers to you as her brother. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Do you call her your sister?
Yeah.
Now, at the time this happened, do you remember your phone number?
I think I had an 825
Do you remember what the last digits were?
0224.
825-0224. Now, after this happened, you talked to Victoria after she got out of jail, right? I need you to say yes or no.
Yes.
She actually called you after she got out of jail,
Yeah.
and y'all talked
Yes.
about everything that was going on.
Yeah.
Now, while you got interviewed that day, right?
Like,
On the 22nd?
yeah, that night.
Yeah. And when you were talking to police, you told police that you heard Victoria say to Gary, you can fix your own phone because you just hit a lick, didn't you?
Yeah, so, like, we were talking, we were catching up on everything, so they were like, that happened before, you know what I'm saying?
You told police it happened that day though, didn't you?
Yeah, but that's what she told me, you get what I'm saying?
I don't get what you're saying.
Like, we ain't seen each other in a while, so she was just catching me up on everything that happened.
You told police that you saw her on the phone with Gary, and that she said, you can fix your own phone because you just hit a lick, right?
Yeah.
You were trying to lie to police, were you? Now, you said when Victoria got to your house, it was about 15 minutes after you called her, right? And you said her mom was blowing up her phone, call, 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 right? Victoria answering every time?
Sir, you have to answer yes or no. Okay.
She answered the phone. I don't know if she picked up every time.
How many times do you think her mom called?
More than 5.
Okay. And what was the time frame on that? How long were y'all together that you heard all these calls to Victoria's number from her mom?
It was in the car. You said 45 minutes or something.
Okay. Do you remember about what time they picked you up?
Like 11, 12. It was sunny outside. It was in the afternoon.
And you said Victoria and Shelby were talking to each other, right?
Nah, Vicky really wasn't saying that. Shelby was doing all the talking.
But Victoria told your mom.
Yeah, on the cell phone.
Did her mom tell her anything about a tag number?
Nah, no shake shit.
Okay. And you heard that whole conversation. And did you think that was weird?
I don't know, really.
Did you think Victoria talking about somebody in her lip was weird?
Nah, I didn't believe that.
What happened then?
We said that.
What is hitting the lip?
Rob or somebody.
When you saw Shelby, when they arrived at your house, you said you didn't notice anything unusual, right? And you said she went in and was in your house for about 10 minutes?
About 20 minutes. Yeah.
About 20 minutes. So if Victoria had told this jury that they were at your house for 2 or 3 minutes, would she have been lying?
Objection, Judge. Parrish testimony.
Sustained. Okay.
Would it have been accurate that y'all
Objection again.
were y'all at your house for 2 or 3 minutes? You were at your house for about 20 minutes. You went in to go see what was going on with Shelby, and Shelby came out of the restroom. Notice anything weird about her then? You went and got into the car with Shelby and Victoria, right? Drove around, you said, for about 45 minutes, right? Y'all were going places? Were you in and out of the car?
Yeah.
Did you ever notice anything amiss about Shelby?
She said she was gonna shoot me, though. She said.
What?
We were talking. I was checking her. I was like, dang, you got your hair done and all that. She was like, Gary, young, shut up before I shoot you.
Do you think she was being serious?
Nah, not at the time, now. She probably was. I don't know. I went there.
And you and Vicky still today are very close. And y'all have continued to talk about
Let
this
me
whole
interject here. You can't, you're saying, because see this young lady down here, she's recording everything. It's hard to type that.
Okay, yes.
How would you type, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the same way. So you gotta say yes or no,
Okay.
okay?
You and Victoria are still very close.
Yes.
Y'all still been talking about this whole situation, right?
I don't want to talk about it.
You said earlier y'all did.
I mean, when she got out of jail, we talked about it, but now we should.
You never ever talked about it. That's all I judge.
One question. Ms. Stevens brought up hair, who had hair, who didn't have hair. You remember her asking you those questions?
Yeah.
Did you see any bundles of hair in the car that day?
Yeah.
Where were they?
I'm just shaking feet.
Under Shay's feet. No further questions.
You understand 1 moment? didn't see anything strange about Shelby that day, right? Now, you did notice something different about Victoria, though. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, call your next witness, please.
Judge McNeely is first.
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, I know you want to keep hearing some stuff, but this, we're going to be discussing some things, it might take too long, so I don't want you looking at the back of the head while we discuss it up here. Okay, so we'll excuse you to the jury room and we'll bring you back in for lunch. Okay. Okay, so you have, next witness, you say, has one jail call or more?
One jail call, Judge.
One jail call, okay. And to show a prior consistent statement.
Yes, Judge. And Judge, in making this, the state has done some research and found that the rules, the Tennessee rules, don't really address prior consistent statement exactly. However, in Tennessee case law, there's long-standing precedent for admitting a consistent statement to rehabilitate a witness when that witness's credibility has been attacked. Victoria State's credibility, Judge, is extremely probative to the state's case. She's the only witness who puts the gun in the hand of the defendant. Furthermore, Judge, the defense attacked her credibility on cross-examination by impeaching her not with one statement, but with two statements and her preliminary hearing testimony. In cases in the Tennessee Court of Appeals, Judge, they have found that just one impeachment was enough to bring in a prior consistent statement. Here, she's been impeached with 3 different versions. They questioned her motives in telling different falsehoods in opening remarks. They talked about half-truths, or in jury selection, they talked about half-truths, and the defense went on to say in opening remarks that Victoria Say's testimony would not be believable. At least that's what they insinuated by saying, you know, in her cross-examination that she eventually told them that told police Shelby did it so that she could get a lesser charge. That was a specific attack, saying that she told them Shelby did it so that she could get a lesser charge. They also attacked her version of events. The jail call that state seeks to introduce, which is about 14 minutes long, is her recanting the events as they happened and talking about how she could no longer lie for Shelby Isaac, but she felt that she had to tell police what happened. It's extremely important for the jury to hear this. It's made the day after the shooting because her motive after that day has been questioned over and over and over. Judge, I have 3 cases for your honor to consider. One is State versus Enloe, which is a Tennessee Criminal Court of Appeals case where they admitted a prior consistent statement to rehabilitate a witness when insinuations of fabrications and deliberate falsehoods had been made. Here we have fabrications and deliberate falsehoods that have been questioned, and that's what the defense is trying to say that Victoria Say did. Furthermore, a State versus Tizard, which is another Tennessee Criminal Court of Appeals case, which is good law. The court said if an opponent attempts to show that a witness was motivated to lie or slant testimony, evidence is admissible of a witness' previous consistent statement made about that motive. Furthermore, State versus Meeks, Judge, another Tennessee Criminal Court of Appeals case. The victim testified shortly after his escape that he told his mother that he actually could identify one of the kidnappers. Later on, that was questioned because that was not in another statement he had given. At the trial, they questioned him about this statement, and the Court of Criminal Appeals said that the trial judge was correct when he allowed the mother to later testify as a secondary witness about that hearsay, what would normally be considered hearsay statement, but the trial court allowed it in as a prior consistent statement to rehabilitate the witness's credibility. Judge, we wish we could offer this as substantive evidence, but in our review of the Court of Appeals decisions, the Court of Appeals has long-standing precedent to allow it in to bolster the witness's credibility when it's been attacked, like it has been in this case. We cannot, according to the case law, admit it under substantive evidence. We're willing to concede that, but we do feel that considering the case law and the Tennessee law that we reviewed, it is a long-standing opinion of the court that a prior consistent statement can be entered in as evidence when the credibility is important and when the credibility has been attacked. And it's been attacked not once here, but multiple times. And it is really one of the most important issues in this case for the jury to consider.
Your Honor, Victoria C's credibility is definitely in question. She's the state's case. And the statements that were questioned about, I'm a little confused about the arguments because I was using her statements to police and her testimony on the stand. And it sounds like the state is admitting that all of those were inconsistent with what she testified to in order to make this a prior consistent statement. So I'm a little confused about the argument. But this statement was not made before there was a motive to lie. This statement was made after she had already talked to police, after she had already signed a statement, after she had already been charged the way that she had been charged. It's a self-serving statement, absolutely a self-serving statement. She even says, like, I told on her because I can't go to jail. That's a self-serving statement. She got to talk about her other statements when she has told these stories in the past. I would think the state's position is that her prior statements were consistent with what her testimony was.
If I can briefly respond to it, I've talked to Ms. Bird about this both last night and this morning. The state's position in the way that she couched it isn't relevant right now. What's relevant is that Ms. Hughes and Mr. Massey have called into question her credibility. She even asked Ms. Say multiple times, "So you're a liar," I believe was her quote. She even asked Mr. Melvin just about 10 minutes ago, and we had to object to it if it would be inaccurate prior statements. Under the case law, it comes in not as substantive evidence. We're not trying to put it in there, but for credibility purposes. And regardless of what the state thinks, as to whether they're consistent or inconsistent, case law is absolutely clear in Tennessee that when they call into question the witness's credibility, we can offer prior consistent statements as for credibility purposes only. I'll sit down.
Your Honor, the state was able to rehabilitate her during their redirect. At this point, that becomes unnecessary cumulative evidence solely to bolster. And I would submit it's a violation under the Confrontation Clause to not be able to confront her about that.
I would respond by saying she could have confronted her with it. She has a transcript of the call before Ms. Say even testified. Tennessee's an open cross state. She could have asked anything she wanted to on cross-examination.
But it was never brought up at any point while she was on the stand.
Further, why Tennessee is an open cross state. It wasn't redirect. It was the first direct, which means she could have asked anything. It's not her fault. She didn't cross her own.
And Judge, it is notable that the defense has continued to question her credibility with other witnesses, as Your Honor just witnessed with Darian Melvin. They asked about her contacting him after she got out of jail. They asked about the things that she said. Her credibility is a vital issue in this case, whether the jury believes what she told police or not. Further, Judge, I know one of the things she said is we were referring to the statement that was made before she talked to police. This jail call happens the day after the shooting, which is important for the jury to hear because it's at a time where this recount of this event is fresh on her mind. And she's not talking to the police. They should question the way the police questioned her, saying that, oh, well, she just told police what they wanted to hear, but she's not talking to police in this tape. And that's important for the jury to hear. They also impeached her on the preliminary hearing
and the second statement, which happened after this. So those impeachments, there were impeachments before this jail call, impeachments after this jail call, and impeachments after that impeachment. And they attempted to impeach her during this trial, about things she said during this trial, and with Jeremy Melvin's testimony.
Your Honor, as a practical matter about when she was referring to talking to somebody who was not the police, I have no idea who she's talking to. The best we could figure is that she was saying Woody. And I have not seen a reference to anybody named Woody in discovery or on the stand or anything like that. I have no idea who this person is.
Which is again why we come in for credibility purposes only, not substantive evidence. Doesn't matter. It's a prior consistent statement to anybody.
Well, that's true, only a prior inconsistent statement that's made under oath. Whereas audio or video recorded or written statement signed by a witness can be considered as substantive evidence. So a prior consistent statement just be used to rehabilitate the witness whose credibility and motives have been attacked. And this is the way it's always been. And I suppose, I guess it could have been used while she was testifying, but then she couldn't testify to how this audio came about. So I think that the state is correct that you challenged her credibility and her motives to change what she originally said to the police, because there was much said about that, and a lot, most of the cross-examination was about basically, I remember the word lie came up a few times. I don't know if it was during that testimony or what. It's usually an indication that if they can be rehabilitated, that would be the time to do it. When someone is actually called a liar, and it's up to the jury to decide whether they want to believe her testimony that she changed her mind as to what she told the police. So I'm going to allow it to come in.
Your Honor, I would ask that you only allow the relevant portions, and that even the part containing the relevant portions be redacted so that only the prior consistent portions come in and not any extraneous information, and that is also supported by case law.
What extraneous?
I don't know specifically what she's talking about, but we can certainly talk and try to come to an agreement of what's redacted and what not to. If she wants to have that conversation, maybe.
You say that the conversation is how long?
14 minutes.
14 minutes, Judge.
I see. And I mean, is there a lot of small talk that's totally irrelevant?
Not a lot.
I mean,
I'm sure there's like a lot of
that it wouldn't hurt to hear,
but
but there's small talk about things that are have nothing to do with the case. Couldn't be considered to be prejudicial.
I mean, I would.
Now, if she was saying all sorts of things about previous robberies that certain people might have done, or I guess that sort of stuff could be redacted out. But if all the other things are small talk, who is the conversation to?
Judge, all I know is that her mother answers the phone, and I know that because she says mom. And then she says something about Jay being there and talks to a man. I assume, based on the facts in evidence, that could be J.E., who she testified was her child's father.
But the part about the part that you wish to, because you say it's relevant to rehabilitating her credibility. Of course, I can have a jury charge that they can't consider that as substantive evidence. But the parts that don't involve what you say to be relevant to rehabilitate her, as far as the pretty good consistency. The other stuff, what is it?
I don't specifically know what she's talking about. If we could talk together, we may be able to agree, but I don't know which specific statement she's.
Do you have the audio where you can go to relevant parts?
I can fast forward and rewind and stuff like that, but I can also have, if given a few minutes, our computer people can have, as long as they're here, obviously, they to the jury viewing, but it should take just a few minutes, maybe over lunch, to get them to redact.
Do you have a witness we can hear before lunch? Because lunch is going to be here in 25 minutes.
Judge, I think we do have a couple of the crime scene people here. We just have to, Ms. Bird's going to step out and see if she can confirm that, which we could do. I will tell Your Honor that there is not just one relevant portion, because she kind of starts the story, then there's some small talk, then she comes back to the story about what happened, then there's some small talk, and then she returns to that. So the state's position would be that we agree on redacting some of the small talk perhaps, but throughout the call she's talking about what happened at the shooting.
Your Honor, I do have we have prepared a transcript, so we have a piece of paper that could be completely and properly redacted.
I want to play the tape,
Well,
not the paper.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is the purpose of redacting it. If it's totally irrelevant, if it's small talk, then it can't be prejudicial. And so we'll be wasting valuable time. For what reason? Why? Why would we have to do this? If we can play the tape, it's 14 minutes long, we can do that before lunch. But I'd have to have a reason why you think it would be prejudicial to allow this small talk to come in. She's testified to this fellow and his mother, father, her child.
She did, Judge.
And we all know that she has a mother. So, I mean, what's so prejudicial about it?
Well, Your Honor, I would submit that she has a reason to lie to this person, because if this is her child's father.
You can make that argument.
To whom? Because I don't have her on the stand.
No, you'll make that argument to the jury in a closing argument.
They're not going to know who's in this call.
Judge, just like I just told Your Honor, based on the facts I've heard in this trial, I assume it's J.E. because she testified J.E. is her child's father. She can connect those dots. In closing,
I have a right to confront a witness.
She confronted her for 2 hours.
Not
We watched
about-
it.
They did when they had the opportunity.
It's an open cross state. That's how Tennessee is. That's how Tennessee has been. It is not our fault that they did not choose to cross-examine her on a transcript that they had. Just like it wouldn't be our fault if they didn't cross-examine her on the transcript of the prelim that they
Redact
had.
what you think is necessary to redact. Thank you. But I want to have a witness testify before lunch. I don't want to waste valuable time. Here it's Thursday afternoon. And I understand we have probably 13 more witnesses to go on the state's case. And so, unless y'all want to be here Sunday, I find that happy jurors make good jurors, and I don't know if you want to make them be here on the weekend. So if y'all can redact it, that's fine with me.
It would have to be over lunch, and maybe Mr. Hughes and I can agree to sit down and talk about what.
Okay, so you have a witness?
They're checking right now, Judge. Our big witness will be not here. 1 second.
I want you to prepare my transcript so my argument is in here.
We can go to all this, sit down and listen to it, but
That's not what I'm saying. I want you to prepare, because there's some stuff, if I bring it out, I want you to look at this and
we'll
listen
have
to
to use
it.
substantive evidence.
I don't care. I'm talking about in closing.
So I think
Don't go to lunch.
I could make another observation. Probably, sort of like another courtroom. That is, without Ms. Say testifying again, there's big boards over the phones there at the jail that say, your call is being recorded. We're letting you know right now, everything you say is being recorded, which is why it's so
And the
self-serving.
person that's gonna come in with that is, can tell you that, and they can tell the jury, there's a big sign there saying you're going to be
The
recorded.
recording says that, we're not taking that out.
The recording says.
Yes.
Being recorded, so you can make what argument you want, anything you want from that. You have a witness?
Yes. Officer Johnson.
All right, street jury back in. All right, State, call your next witness, please.
Officer Johnson.
So you come around this way, stand in the front, face the judge, raise your right hand.
Swear or affirm to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Officer Johnson, would you state your full name, please?
DeAndre Johnson.
And spell all
DeAndre D-apostrophe F-A-N-D-R-E Johnson, J-O-H-N.
So you were with the Memphis Police Department,
Yes, sir.
and how long did you work for them?
Since 2003.
And I want to direct your attention back to January 22nd, 2016. Were you on duty that day?
I was.
Yes. And what precinct did you work in?
Alpine Farm Precinct.
All right. Did
You
you,
don't have to worry about leaning forward, they'll hear you.
Okay.
is the Sycamore Lakes Apartments in your precinct?
It is.
Did you respond to a shooting call approximately 3-something that afternoon?
Yes.
And please tell ladies and gentlemen on the jury what you found when you arrived.
I responded to a shooting call inside the apartment complex. Found a male black kid laying on the ground, DOA, appeared to be DOA. I was also notified that a second victim was inside of the apartment complex. Found her, and she had suffered from a gunshot wound herself.
Did you was she inside the apartment?
Inside an apartment, inside the apartment complex.
And you went inside?
Yes,
And you observed her?
yes,
Did you observe the wound?
yes.
Where did the wound appear to be on the
It appeared
body?
to be on her left side. Her left side, she was bleeding profusely from the left side.
Was the ambulance called?
Yes, yes, they called for ambulance to come out here.
Were you there when she was transported?
Yes,
Now, this location where the female was a different location than where you saw the male.
right, correct.
Was it sort of round the corner?
It was actually across the apartment complex.
Did you see
A few buildings across.
did you see the car out there?
I was advised that she was in a green vehicle, and we did see the vehicle that she pulled around the corner.
Fantastic. Does that look to me?
Yes, sir.
Is that a fair representation of the way that looked on January 27th,
Yes, sir.
2016? Dr. Moss, that's the next exhibit.
No objection.
Let's see, what is it? 39.
39.
Those are the questions I've asked you.
Very briefly, Your Honor. Now just putting this out there, when lawyers and cops talk in these contexts, we say things like female black and male black and female white, male white, right? And that's kind of in relation to the fact that that's kind of cop talk, right?
Yes.
When y'all write reports, that's kind of how you write it, right? So that's just kind of almost legal jargon, isn't it? Just, it's just the way we talk in
Yes,
this
yes, yes.
area. I just realized it might sound a little strange to them for us to keep on referring to people as their life and female life. Now, the gentleman that you found when you arrived on the scene in between 2104 and 2118, you said that he was DOA.
Appeared to be DOA, yes.
What does that mean?
He appeared to be dead when we arrived on the scene.
Okay. And when you arrived, he was face down, right?
Yes,
Now, you were notified at some point that there was another person in the apartment complex that had been shot,
yes,
and that was the young woman,
yes.
Edmina Thomas. If you don't know,
I'm not
that's
sure about
okay.
the name. Yeah.
So she didn't tell you her name or anything like that?
We didn't get a lot of information out of her. I guess she was in a state of shock in the midst of it, but we didn't get a lot of information out of her.
Okay. But you went to that 2116 address where she was?
Yes.
And it was around the corner?
Not necessarily around the corner, but a couple of buildings across from where the other incident occurred.
Okay. Did you drive or walk?
I walked,
Okay. So if you had driven, it would have been around the corner?
in a sense.
And the green Honda was parked in front of 2116?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Anything else?
No redirect.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down. All right.
May
For the short witness.
May we first? Sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Haver has indicated that your lunch is here, whatever that is. It is 12:20. So I'm going to allow just 1 hour for lunch, okay? So we'll see you in 1 hour. Okay, there.
How did you end
Now that you've eliminated those two witnesses, how many more witnesses do you have?
See, Dutch, we had crime scene officers, Pickering, Slaughter, Gary, Holman, crime scene officers. And then we'll have Mitch Oliver from Ninth Division Bank, Officer Papa Marto.
Counted 11.
And most of those are pretty quick.
They should be pre-marked exhibits.
Now,
Yes.
if you, how many photographs do you think you have?
We need to count. We'll count.
That many?
It's going to be around upward.
Okay, so this pre-markers, if there's any that you're objecting to, maybe save those for the end.
We kind of briefly talked about that.
Most of them, I think we agree on. There's some from the actual scene that I am objecting to.
Right. Would that be something particularly troubling, maybe perhaps?
Yes, as the testimony has borne out, the victim was face down when this happened. I don't know if there were life-saving efforts made or not, but we rolled him over and was foaming at the mouth. And
I don't even know that we were intending to put those in. She told me she would look at those. I said, okay. And we talked to Mr. Beatty about the one we intended.
Let's see if y'all can pre-mark as much as you can, so we can get this thing.
Your Honor, just out of an abundance of caution, I would like to move for a mistrial after Darian Melvin testified that my client told him that she would shoot him. We have never heard that before, and my understanding is that he had said that for the first time to the state today and was not instructed not to say that in open court. So, I don't know, I know he didn't ask him about it, I'm not saying he elicited it, he said it when I was talking to him. But that is absolutely for me a type of prejudicial.
Anything, it could have also been a statement against our
The
interest.
way his demeanor and everything was, he took it as she was kidding. I don't think it phased him whatsoever.
And just so the record's clear, now that this has been brought up, I told him I was not going to ask him about it, and the only thing I told him about direct and cross-examination, which he testified to, was to tell the truth. When he said it to me, I didn't take it to mean that he was serious, but that's what I thought. It doesn't really matter. Now that it's been brought up.
Y'all had interviewed him before trial?
I'm sorry?
Y'all interviewed him before trial?
Yes. Did he say that? Didn't say it then either.
I don't think it rises to, I don't think it was so prejudicial it rises to the level of mistrial. Like I say, the demeanor of this witness, he was smiling the whole time. He took it as a joke. And so anyway, I'm not going to declare a mistrial. So you got it in the record.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, let's recess for lunch until 1:20.
This court is in recess until 1:20 p.m. You may enter the courtroom.
Good. Bring jury in.
We're also going to have some physical evidence. We were tentatively agreed on, and we haven't had time to actually mark it to no objection. We can do that after the other.
Okay.
Your Honor, the jury is in for the courtroom.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, while y'all were out of the courtroom, we have parties have agreed and have pre-marked a number of exhibits to save a lot of time. Exhibits 40 through 120 have been pre-marked, considered inadequate at this time. These exhibits will be used over the next 4 or 5 witnesses. Okay, so it should save some time. So 40 through 120. State, call me next week.
Officer Pickering.
Pickering, Officer Pickering.
Officer Pickering, you can come to this way. Standing, sir. Thank you, Judge. Raise your right hand.
You shall swear affirm to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth shall be done. I do. See you here.
Officer Pickering, can you say and spell your name for the court, please?
Adam Pickering, P-I-C-K-E-R-I-N-G.
And where are you employed?
I'm a sergeant with Memphis Police Department, currently assigned to Dodgers Boxing.
Okay. How long have you been on the Memphis Police Department?
Since 1998.
And you have not been with felony response the whole time, have you?
No,
Where were you assigned in 2016?
the crime scene investigation.
Okay. Tell this jury generally, what does a crime scene officer do?
They make scenes of crimes, photograph them, document evidence that's there, collect fingerprints, photographs, DNA, tag evidence, maintain and document the crime scenes. Their main role.
And how long were you a crime scene officer?
Approximately 4 years.
And January 2016, that's what you were doing?
Yes,
Did you have an occasion to come out to a crime scene at the Sycamore Lake Apartment
I did.
in Shelby County, Tennessee?
Yes.
Can you tell this jury how you got involved? What happened first?
I responded to a homicide at that location. We had one victim that was deceased on the scene. I made the scene. There was a deceased victim covered by a blue sheet. Fire department put over. They secured it with what looked like traffic cones because it was very windy that day. There were 6 spent 9mm shell casings just to the north of the victim on that parking lot.
Okay, let's stop right there. What did you do with those? What do you mean by spent? Explain that.
When you fire a semi-automatic pistol or any pistol, the casing that holds the powder is ejected from the firearm. The projectile, of course, goes down range. So the spent shell casing is left on the scene.
And what, as a crime scene officer, would you do with the spent shell casing?
Photograph them and collect them.
Did you do that in this case?
Yes.
Okay, what did you do now?
There was also a spent .22 long rifle casing located in Breezeway. There was a secondary scene to the west in the apartment complex.
You said a spent what?
.22 long rifle casing.
And what do you mean by that?
It was a spent casing from a 22 long rifle fired. The casing got ejected.
And where was that casing in relation to the 6 9mm casing you found lying, I believe you said north of the victim?
It was considerably north of the Breezeway in front of another apartment. One of the officers canvassing the scene found that.
Okay. Was it in the same group?
No,
It
was,
where was it in relation to these 9mm?
I would say probably 150, 200 feet north. It was almost to the end of that breezeway.
Okay. And what happened next?
I would have to look at my notes to see what the address was, but there was another section of the apartment complex to the west where there was a vehicle that had been hit.
And you said, you prepare reports?
Yes,
And is that something you keep as a crime scene officer?
I do.
Would being able to refer to that report refresh your recollection?
It would.
Your Honor, may I pass on this crime scene report? Manager. I don't want you to read that out loud. Just look at that yourself and tell me if that refreshes your recollection.
Yes.
Okay, what'd you do next?
Proceeded 2116 Westchester Drive, where that was the secondary location where there was the green Honda located.
And that's in the same apartment complex?
Same apartment complex, just, I wouldn't even have a measure for you, but it's considerably to the west. It's like the very southwest corner of the complex.
And what did you observe when you went to, did you call it a secondary scene? How do you refer to it?
I would refer to it as secondary scene. The primary scene was where the victim was actually located, where the incident occurred. This was where a vehicle had been shot up, had been located, and where a second victim had been located inside one of the apartments there.
And what did you do when you got to the secondary scene?
I photographed that vehicle on that scene, and then photographed the entryway to the apartment with the second victim was found.
Okay. And what did you do next?
I returned back to the primary scene waiting for that.
And when you respond, are you one of the first officers there, or did they call you?
Oh no, the crime scene is one of the last groups that gets there. Usually we show up right after the investigators did.
I believe you said that you took a number of pictures, correct?
Yes.
These had previously been marked in, is there a label pointer? No, that's not it. No.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. These have previously been marked in evidence. I'm going to show it to you one at a time.
Okay.
Can you see the overhead projection?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain to the jury what they're looking at here?
That is the victim covered by the sheet by the fire department, and they placed traffic cones to keep the sheet from blowing away. There was a crowd that was gathering, they didn't want the victim. And then if you look, you can see.
What are those yellow things?
These are the placards that we put out. These are 3 of the shell casings that were located, the 9mm shell casings.
Okay.
This is to the west, and north would be that way. If you look right there in the corner, you can see the entryway to the breezeway I was talking about.
Look where?
Right at the edge of this fence line here,
Okay.
right about there would be the entryway to that breezeway going north.
And what was that breezeway?
At the very other end of that, there's an apartment there between 2 long rifle
The
cases.
very other end of the breezeway?
Yeah, the far end of that breezeway.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 42. You recognize this?
Yes, that's looking, same situation now looking towards the south, victim, and then the 3 of the shell casings. Market placards.
And I'm going to show you Exhibit number 43.
That would be the address of 2116, and this is the breezeway.
Okay, and that would be, is that the secondary scene?
Let me double check. I believe that's the secondary scene. Yes, 2016 Westchester Drive, number 1. So that's number 1 there, and that's where the second victim was there.
And that's what you started with?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I never went inside that apartment. I photographed from the outside.
You recognize this picture?
That is, the original, that's 2104 Westchester Circle. That's the original scene, and that would be the breezeway that was in the other photograph that you didn't see.
Okay. And that 22 was where?
All the way down at the other end on the east side, from apartment 7, I think it was.
Okay. Did you ever take any pictures inside of the vehicle?
I did not, but the vehicle was towed to the sea locking process, and another officer processed it.
A green vehicle at the secondary scene?
Green Honda, Marion, Tennessee, November 7801 November, yes. I never got inside that vehicle, I believe. No, I didn't.
We have one moment, Judge. We're agreeing on this, I just want to say it the record. But you do recall that car being there, right?
Yes, I photographed it from the outside.
Okay. So did you photograph into it without getting inside it?
Yes.
That's what I was trying to do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 45. You recognize this?
Yes, that would be a photograph from the outside of the vehicle through the window.
And you took that photo?
Yes.
And that's again of the green Honda that you found located at 2116?
Yes, and what appears to be blood there on the console.
I'm going to show you Exhibit number 46. What's that?
That is a apparent bullet strike to the exterior of that vehicle.
Did you document that? Did you take this picture?
Yes.
I'm going to show you Exhibit number 47. Explain to the jury what the significance of this picture is.
That is 2 of the spent 9mm casings, item 5 and items. This item 6.
Okay. And that was in the police. You were.
Those are in the direct vicinity of the victim. You can see those in the.
Right. Exhibit number 48.
Again, it's the victim, and then 2 of the marked spent cases, or 3 of the marked spent cases.
And that's again part of the primary scene?
Yes.
Exhibit number 49. Do you recognize this?
That is a patch of mud. It's there. It's on the southwest corner of 2104 Westchester. We had information.
Primary scene or
Yes,
secondary?
primary scene.
Okay, so we're at the primary scene.
Yeah, back to primary scene, just west of where the victim was located on the corner of that building, there was a patch of grass. You can see where the snow is on the ground. The ground was wet, and you can see where the ground had been disturbed and mud had been picked up.
Exhibit 50
That's a close-up of the previous picture.
and Exhibit 51.
And again, the same location.
Exhibit 52.
Yeah, that's the muddy area I was talking about, the parking out there on the southwest corner.
Where is the primary scene in relation to this photograph?
It would be, if you're looking right there at it, it would be off to the right and further back down, back around where the picture on the wall there is.
We can pre-mark this, but I'm going to pass you a document. Tell me if you recognize it.
Yes.
And what is that?
This was a sketch of the scene that Officer Ford.
And it does something that typically as a crime scene officer.
Yes. Yeah, on any critical injury or death, we do a sketch of the scene.
And does that appear to be the sketch of the scene that you responded to?
Yes.
I don't believe there's an objection to that. I said the next one exhibit.
No objection.
All right, 121.
Commissioner Post.
Yes.
Officer, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Explain this diagram to the jury, please.
All right. This is the victim's location. Items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 are the spent 9mm casings. Item 7 there.
I think you might be know. Where was the 22 at?
Yeah, item 7 is the spent .22 long rifle casing from Department 7.
And you're saying items and referring to numbers.
It's the numbers off the placards that we use to mark.
Okay.
This would be the address we actually went off of, which was 2104 Westchester Circle. This was 2118. I cannot remember what this drive is off the top of my head, but this is that the area where that mud was disturbed here on the corner of these buildings.
Okay. And so looking at this, items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are what?
Items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 are all spent 9mm cases. Spent casings from 9mm.
2, 3, 4, 5, and 6?
Yes, 1 is the victim. I'm sorry.
So 1 would refer to the victim?
Yes, 1 is the victim. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 are spent 9mm casings.
Correct.
Item 8 got located after item 7 did.
And they go in numerical order?
Yeah, as they're found, we would mark them.
So does that explain why 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 may be all in the same place, but numbered differently, 7 isn't?
Yes. Yeah, because what happened, item 8 got found later. It's up against the curb, I believe, is where it was, and wasn't seen until we had already marked item 7.
We've talked a little bit about spent shell casings. What do you do with those?
I photograph them, collect them, and then tag them to the property owner's room to them.
Okay. I'm going to pass you an envelope. I'll make it. Did you collect or observe shell casings of this scene?
I did.
And what should you normally collect and tag those?
Yeah,
How does that happen?
After I photograph them, we'll collect them, put them into envelopes, place them in the property owner's envelope, and take it to the property room and tag it there.
And do you recognize the envelope record?
Yes, this is the envelope that I tagged them in,
Okay.
or that I placed this shell case.
Ask that be the next number exhibit.
No objection.
All right, 122.
Your Honor, may I let this publish those figures?
Yes. I collected these, placed in this envelope. The officer Slaughter.
I understand, we talked about that.
Okay, I just make sure you understood before I.
Yes.
So you want me to? Thanks.
I believe what you were gonna say is you collected those and a different officer brought them down here to 201.
Yes, one of the other crime scene officers tagged these while I was still on the scene waiting for them to look at.
And what are those little envelopes?
Each one of these, each individual shell casing is put in its own envelope. Inside the main envelope, labeled with the item number and then tagged.
Okay, and those would be each individual shell case?
Yes, these would be all the shell casings that are tagged.
I got a moment to speak to Mr. Shelby. Can you just place those back? How many are there?
There are 6 9mm casings and 1 20.
Can you place those back now?
Yes, sir.
Did you tag anything else associated with this case?
After I left the scene, I went to the Regional 1877 Jefferson and collected the tags and clothing.
And what's that address?
It's Regional 1877 Jefferson's the man.
Okay. And you would, how does that work?
Any time that someone's critically injured, by policy, we collect the clothing from the victim and tag it to the property evidence room. If it's bloody, we then take it to the property evidence room and hang it in the drying room at the crime scene office.
For the pass sheet, I'm not going to ask you to open it, but on the pass sheet, bag, I guess. And I'm not going to. You recognize that?
Yes, this is the bag that contains clothing. It's got the property evidence seals that I labels outside. Everyone's closed that way.
And what's in that bag?
One clear plastic bag, one pair of black boots, one pair of gray pants cut, one white shirt, t-shirt, cut, hot soil, what appeared to be blood, one pair of pink soil, what appeared to be blood.
And you said that you received those or go and collect those from the medical examiner's office?
Yes, well, no, not the medical examiner's office, from the hospital.
Okay.
When the medical team, they cut the clothing off of you or they take it off of you, however they get it, if they're a victim of a crime, they'll collect it, they put it in a plastic bag with an inventory sheet, and then the crime scene lets the team collect it and tag it.
I'm not going to ask to publish those, but I'm going to ask that be the next one.
Well, then you want that for ID purposes only, is in the evidence?
I guess unless I want to publish them. Thank you. Never mind. I'm not. ID purposes fine.
Look at the next exhibit. And how do you want it classified in evidence?
ID's purposes fine.
ID is fine?
Yes,
sir. For ID purposes.
Pass the question.
Ross?
Thank you, Your Honor. Did you say you're starting now?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to make sure I say right. Sergeant Patrick, you did photograph at both of those scenes, correct?
Yes.
And at that primary location, that disturbed mud stood out to you.
Yes.
That's all.
That's correct.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, State, let me call you next witness.
Officer Slaughter.
Slaughter, Officer Slaughter.
swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Do you hear, sir?
Yeah. Stand and spell your name for the court, please.
Christopher Slaughter. First name CHRASTOPHER, last name SLAUGH.
And where are you employed?
Principal Police Department,
How long have you worked in the police department?
20 years.
And where are you assigned?
Domestic violence.
Before you were a domestic violence officer, were you a crime scene officer?
Yes.
And how long were you a crime scene officer?
A little over 5 years.
Were you a crime scene officer in January 2016?
Yes.
Do you have occasion to respond to a crime scene at the Sycamore Lake Park?
Yes.
That's in Shelby County.
Yes, it is.
And what did you do when you got there?
I assist-
What did you see?
When I arrived on the scene, there was a male laying down unresponsive. They said he was DOA. We had shell cases on the scene. The scene spread it out to another location.
And as a crime scene officer, would you have documented that scene?
Yes, I would have.
And how do you do that?
You document with photographs. You collect evidence.
Would you have taken photographs of this crime?
I would have, yes.
I'm going to show you what's previously been marked as Exhibit 52. Can you see that over there?
Yes.
Can you tell me what this is a picture of?
That's a depiction of a vehicle tag that was on a gray Mitsubishi garage that I photographed.
Right. Did you respond to more than one scene that would involve this case?
Yes, sir.
And where was the second scene you responded to?
4498, nothing.
And what's that? Do you know? Right, a red one?
Yes.
And did you find a car at this red one?
Yes, it is.
Alright. I'm going to show you another picture. Exhibit 53. You recognize this?
Yes, sir.
What's that a picture?
That's a picture of the same vehicle, the gray Mitsubishi garage in the driveway.
Were you present when anyone was taken into custody of this location?
Yes.
And did you take pictures of that?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to show you exhibit number 54. It's this picture.
That's a picture of a female black they had detained in the back of the squad car, later identified as Victoria City.
Okay. And you took this picture.
Yes, I did.
I'm going to show you exhibit number 55. What's that?
That's a depiction of a close-up of her face.
I'm going to show you exhibit number 56. What's this?
That's a depiction of her right leg and boot.
Exhibit number 57.
That would be a picture of her, a close-up of her left leg and boot with mud over the also.
In much way?
On the boot and the pants leg.
Okay. Exhibit number 58.
A depiction of both boots, the right and left, with a mud and on the left boot.
And exhibit number 59.
That would be a depiction of the right hand.
Pass the motion.
All right, thank you, sir.
That's what I go.
Call your name, please.
Judge, state calls Officer Gary.
Gary?
Go ahead and take the left over this and go into the record, please.
And sir, raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, sir.
See over here, sir.
Please state and spell your name for the court.
Jeffrey Allen Gary, G-A-R-E-Y, L-A-N-G-A-R-E-Y.
I can't remember, you officer or you sergeant?
Officer, ma'am.
All right, Officer Gary, I just want to make sure I got it right. Where are you employed?
Memphis Police Department,
How long have you worked with the police department? What do you do there?
I am currently assigned to crime scene investigation unit.
In 2016, specifically January of that year, were you working as a crime scene officer then?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have a occasion to become involved with a homicide that occurred at the Sycamore Lake Apartments?
Yes, the vehicle, one of the vehicles that was involved.
Or what do you mean by that?
Whenever a vehicle is towed to be processed, it's towed to the crime scene unit. There I was assigned to process the vehicle.
What kind of vehicle?
It was a Mitsubishi, silver in color, I believe.
Looking at the picture I just put up on the projector, and for the record, I'm referring to exhibit number 60, what's been previously marked by both parties. Is this a vehicle you recall processing?
Yes, ma'am.
Now just, we're going to go through several pictures for your officer, Terry, if you can bear with me. Is this the same vehicle?
Yes. Yes.
And I'm referring to 61, is it 62? What about 63? What is this a picture of?
It appears to be a door panel on either the front or the rear right side of the vehicle.
And is that part of the process to normally take pictures of those door panels?
Yes, ma'am, when I do take pictures, it is.
What about 64?
Again, another door panel right side.
And 65?
Appears to be a seat looking through the window.
66?
Again, seat looking through the window.
67? That was pretty dark.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
But is that, from what you can tell, I know that if you're looking, can you see where my finger is over here?
Yes.
Does that appear to be the inside of the door panel? Or like the door locks? Would it help if I pass the picture up to you?
Yes,
Perhaps?
please, ma'am.
All right. Permission approach for witness judge. Right. Let the record reflect. I'm passing up picture number 67, or exhibit number 67.
Okay, that object that you were pointing to is actually the metal clasp with the door locks too, so this is looking into the right front seat compartment area through the window.
Thank you. And 68.
Appears to be the back seat.
And I'm going to go ahead and pass up exhibit number 69 because it's also very dark, and I think that we'll have the same scenario as we just encountered.
Yes, ma'am, this is going to be a photograph of the back seat.
So you said you processed the car. Did you take all these photos as part of that process?
Yes, I did take those photos, ma'am.
And is that customary when you process a car?
At certain times it is. In this case here, I was requested to use what's called Blue Star Forensic, which is a latent blood detection type fluid. The dark pictures are taken under UV light once the spray is put onto a specific object. Had there been latent blood, there would have been a blue glow that shows the latent blood where it was at. In this case, because the pictures are dark, there was no illumination.
And so you said you conducted the Blue Star test, which would reveal blood. So were you able to conclude that there was no latent blood according to the Blue Star test?
According to the Blue Star test, there did not appear to be any blood, no.
Did you do anything else to process the vehicle?
Yes, there were several items that I collected over a period of 2 days. The first day when I processed the vehicle, I collected a cell phone and a shirt from the back seat. I believe it was a black shirt.
All right. Did you collect anything else from the car?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, from the shirt, what I did is collected 2 DNA swabs. One DNA swab was boxed and sealed. The other DNA swab was tested with phenolphthalein blood testing reagent. And
and that test turned positive for the presence of blood. So the t-shirt, the cell phone, and the DNA swab from that day were all tagged into evidence.
All right, one moment. All right, did you find anything else in the car?
Second day I was asked to reprocess the vehicle. I collected a black head cap, what is referred to as a do-rag, black in color. Both of those were in the left front door panel. And I also collected and processed a white styrofoam cup that was in the center cup console.
When you say left front door panel, are you referring to the driver's side or the passenger side?
Driver's side now.
What did you do with the flat net cap and the do-rag?
Both of those were tagged into evidence of the property.
Can you say you collected anything else that second day?
The styrofoam cup.
All right. And did you do the same, did you follow the same process with the styrofoam cup?
Styrofoam cup I processed with dual contrast magnetic powder. This detail, commonly referred to as a latent impression, was developed. I lifted that with transparent tape, placed it on a lift card, and it was turned into the latent print examiners for examination.
All right, Officer Gary, in more regular people language, not officer talk, what exactly were you looking for when you used the powder test on the styrofoam cup?
Looking for fingerprints.
All right. Would you recognize these items in an evidence bag if it were handed to you?
Probably.
Let the record reflect I've passed an evidence bag up to this witness.
This is a bag that, excuse me, I tagged that contains a black kit cap, white styrofoam cup, a black rag. One of those items that are tagged has a barcode on these white pieces of paper that are attached to it. These two here you can see visibly my initials and my identification number. These are here.
Yes, Officer Gary, at this time I ask that you open the evidence bag and look inside.
First one is an individual bag that I have labeled as do-rag, driver's door pocket.
If you could open that up and see if that's what's inside. And is that the do-rag that you remember seeing
Yes, ma'am.
in there? When you saw it, did it appear, have anything on it?
No, ma'am.
You said you collected the do-rag, and then what is the next item that you can pull out of the bag?
Black knit cap.
All right, you could open that, see what's inside. Does this appear to be the black knit cap that you recall pulling out of the vehicle that day?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the third item in the bag?
Being crunched, it says styrofoam cup, center, console, cup holder.
Is this the styrofoam cup you remember doing the dual contrast test or fingerprint test on?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said earlier you were able to lift a latent print.
That's correct.
All right, what did you do with that latent print?
The latent print is lifted with basically clear tape, fingerprint tape. It's placed on the unwritten side of a white card to be looked at. The back side of the card has different information that needs to be filled out in regards to the case, victim, address, location and date it was taken from, where it was taken from.
And why did you do all this?
In order for the evidence to be maintained within the same proper file, it needs to be.
Well, you said it's also to be looked at. Is it going to be looked at by anybody else after you in your experience?
Yes, ma'am. I locate, lift, and then turn them in, and certified latent print examiners do the comparison of the prints.
Now, we talked about the Blue Star test earlier. Before we move on to the rest of your investigation, did you do the Blue Star test? What exactly did you do the Blue Star test on?
The third day I visited the vehicle, I did a Blue Star test on the front passenger and the right front passenger seat and the back seat area.
What, if anything, did you find?
The results were negative for any illumination for hidden blood.
You also talked about the black powder test. Did you do the black powder test just on the styrofoam cup or anything else?
The first day that I processed it and collected a cell phone, I used black powder to develop fingerprints on the screen of the telephone. Single transparent tape lift was also lifted from that phone. The same thing applied. It was applied to a latent print lift card, information filled out, and then submitted for evaluation.
This time, the state moves the black knit cap, the do-rag, and the styrofoam cup to be the next numbered exhibits. No objection.
Number 424.
Judge, would you like them all to be the same exhibit, number 124? Thank you, Judge. It's do-rag, styrofoam cup, and black knit cap. Right there. Is that when your investigation stopped, Officer Gary?
That was the end of my investigation. Well, no, I was brought a pair of sequin boots. I believe it was on the fourth day. I was requested to use Blue Star latent print solution to see if there was any latent blood on those shoes themselves.
Do you remember what day you tested the boots? May I pass the report up to the witness, Judge?
Yes, ma'am.
Officer Gary, can you identify the document I just handed you?
Yes, ma'am. This is standard Memphis Police Department crime scene investigation report. This is what we fill out anytime we have any dealings with either evidence or scenes of a crime. It's a report as to what we did, where we did it, the date, time, what the case was involved in. In this case, it was Saturday, February 6th, 2016, approximately 17:50 hours, which is 5:15 p.m. in the evening. That's when Homicide Sergeant Eric Kelly brought in a pair of boots for me to process with Blue Star to see if I could locate any trace blood evidence.
And did you locate any trace blood evidence on those evidence?
No, ma'am, there was no reaction.
Permission to retrieve the document from the witness? Thank you. Now, the UGG boots that we just referred to, Officer Gary, does this appear to be a picture of the UGG boots that you took? And let the record reflect that I'm referring to what could be marked as exhibit number 72. Now I'm going to go through some pictures just to see if you recognize them. They've been pre-marked, so we're not going to go through the normal ordeal of handing them to you. It's a 71. What is that a picture of?
It's a picture of inside of one of the boots, ma'am.
And exhibit number 70. What is that a picture of?
Inside of the other boots, ma'am.
It doesn't have the appropriate player.
74.
Soles of boots.
Now, I've noticed that 73 appears to be dark. Why is that?
The reason it's dark is the lights are turned out. The camera is set in specific settings in order to visualize any luminescence of the blue star that was applied. In this case, the blue star was applied, the lights were turned out, and the photograph was taken, though there is no illumination for latent flow.
And number 75, is that a picture showing that there's no illumination as well?
That's correct, and that's on the sole of the boots.
Number 76, is this a picture you normally take?
Yes, ma'am. Whenever we're done taking photographs of the scene, we take what we call an end-of-scene placard shot. That allows the people downtown to transfer the photographs from the card that's in our camera onto a disc. You know, when you stop adding it to that individual disc.
And is number 77 the same photo?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you collect anything else out of the car that you processed? Any other piece of physical evidence? Do you recall anything about a sweatshirt?
Sweatshirt, t-shirt.
Would you like to review your report from February 3rd to refresh your memory?
Yes, ma'am, please.
May I pass out the document? Thank you. Officer Gary, reviewing this report from February 3rd, 2016, and take all the time you need, do you recall collecting any additional physical evidence other than the styrofoam cup, do-rag, and black ink cap?
Yes, ma'am, I collected the cell phone that we talked about earlier, and I believe I referred to the item in the back seat as a black t-shirt. In this case, it is a black sweatshirt.
Thank you. Would you recognize a black sweatshirt if it were handed to you in evidence bag?
Yes, ma'am.
And you also mentioned earlier that you took some DNA swabs. Those are all also being passed up. Other records, like I'm passing out the evidence bag to the witness. Officer Gary, if you can use the same process and open that evidence bag and tell the court what you find inside.
Okay, again, the evidence markers on the outside show my initials and my IBM number in red. So this is the bag that I tagged the evidence into.
Is this a black sweatshirt, do you remember?
Yes, ma'am. I collected the back seat.
Thank you. State moves this in. Well, we can talk about the name first. Is there anything else left in that bag?
Yes, ma'am.
What's in the bag?
This is the standard envelope we use when we collect DNA swabs. Placed inside a white thin cardboard box and then placed inside this envelope. On the envelope across the back where its open and close area is at, we put a red seal across it, and in this corner, slightly covered by, I guess it's TBI's tape or somebody's tape, and my initials, the date, and my IBM number.
Thank you.
White box the DNA swab is contained in. There's additional writing on this side here. It shows the RNI number, the date it was collected, my initials and IBM number, which is my identification number. So at the top line up here is what it contains, and this is DNA swab / blood, and underneath where it was taken from, in this case, black sweatshirt front.
So explain what you did to the black sweatshirt and the testing that you did with that swab.
When I collected the black t-shirt, I used my flashlight and went over the surface of it. When blood makes contact with a dark surface, it makes that surface become even darker. So even though it's difficult, it still can be visualized with the naked eye. There was one spot on that t-shirt that appeared to have a very dark stain to it. If I'm not mistaken, there was a very small corner of that white iron-on transfer that also had a reddish-brown dry stain. I believed it possibly to be blood. So what I did is I took 2 sterile cotton-tip swabs. Both of those swabs were moistened with sterile water. And they dabbed around the area to try to absorb some of that dried substance that was on there. Once I did that, I boxed one into here, and the other one I used a presumptive blood test to determine whether or not it was blood. The reaction was positive for blood, so then I determined it was blood.
Where exactly on the sweatshirt did you test? Let the record reflect the victim was taking out the sweatshirt.
The area of the swab is towards the center. And in the center here and along the edge of the white, there was also some reddish-brown substance. And if I may, for closer observation, there is still a little more reddish-brown substance on the white area here. So let's proceed closer.
Hey, publish it to the jury, Jeff.
Yes.
Actually, Judge, I don't think I would move that this be admitted in as the next number exhibit. That's probably more appropriate. We can move this in as the next number exhibit along with the DNA swab. It's all the same evidence bag. And I have no objection, Your Honor.
Okay, then be 125.
Thank you, Judge. Now may publish it to the jury.
Yeah.
Thank you. No. Thank you, guys. So Gary, you can put both the DNA swab and the sweatshirt back in the evidence bag. Which will now be used to exhibit number 25 collectively. Officer Gary, do you recall where in the car you found the sweatshirt?
I believe it was towards the center area of the back seat.
And you say, I believe, would you like to review the report to be sure? May I pass up the report to the witness judge? know there are a lot of details to keep up with, if you can just look over that report and tell the jury where you found the sweatshirt.
Center portion of the back seat.
Thank you. Officer Jared, we talked about the UGG boots earlier. Let the record reflect that on attached court evidence box, which has a label saying it contains the UGG boots. You can use this. Oh, I'm sorry, I told you not to take off your gloves yet. You can put those gloves back on and go through the evidence box. Are these the boots that you tested for blood and examined on February 6, 2016?
Yes, ma'am, they are.
And they were negative on those tests as well. Is that what your testimony was earlier?
Correct.
State moves this in as the next numbered exhibit. I believe that's 126.
No objection.
All right, 126.
Before you completely pass that evidence back, or can you tell the date those boots were collected and bagged from the evidence label?
Appears to be February 6th at 2016 at, it's got writing over it, but it says 16:11 hours, which is 4:11 p.m.
Thank you. Nothing further, and I don't need you to keep your gloves on anymore. If you'd like to take those off, feel free. The state passes the witness, Judge.
All right, cross.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. You said while you were searching the car, you found a broken iPhone, right?
Yes.
May I pass it over, please? Does that appear to be the same broken iPhone located during that search?
Ma'am, it appears to be.
Your Honor, I'd ask that those three photographs be introduced as the next number of exhibits. No objection, Judge.
Thank you. 27.
Now, Officer Gary, you tested this Mitsubishi on a couple of different occasions, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the first time when you located that, the broken iPhone and the sweatshirt and collected that DNA swab, you didn't photograph that search, did you?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Is that standard procedure?
Standard procedure is whenever a vehicle is to be searched, the investigator gets a copy of a vehicle request process form. Information on that form is filled out, victim's name, date of birth, address, type of vehicle to include a tag, VIN number, color and year, make and model as well. There are also several boxes on that form that the investigator chooses to either check or not check as to what he wants done with that processing.
So when you say the investigator, you mean the case coordinator who's assigned you to search that vehicle?
Whoever filled out the form, yes.
Okay. So in this situation, were you photographs were requested?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And the broken cell phone, if I may publish these to the jury room.
Yes.
When it says broken, that's not referring to the screen, right?
No, ma'am. Normally, if the screen itself is broken, I annotated it as a cracked screen. Anything else damage-wise, the back taken off, the corners broken off, I refer to as broken.
Well, and if I may flip through these, and this is Exhibit 127. This is the front of the phone, right?
That's correct.
And then this would be the side view of the phone. That's right. The side view of the phone?
Yes, ma'am.
And as indicated right here, you can actually see the phone was broken in two, right?
Correct.
And then this would be the back of the phone.
Yes, ma'am.
And this phone was located in the driver's side door pocket.
Correct.
And when I say the driver's side door pocket, that's that little area that's actually built into the door, right?
Into the door panel, yes.
And the sweatshirt was located in the back seat.
Yes, ma'am.
And it tested positive for blood.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you search the Mitsubishi again, you search that same driver's side door pocket,
Correct.
and this was on a different day, right?
Following day, I believe, yes.
And on that day, you found, you referred to it as a black knit cap, right?
Correct.
Another name for that kind of black knit cap is called a skull cap, right?
Correct.
So the black skull cap, you located in the driver's side door pocket,
Yes.
where you had also located that broken iPhone.
Yes.
Where the broken iPhone is the one that had the fingerprint on it, right? And in addition to the black skull cap, you found a black do-rag
Correct.
in the driver's side door pocket,
Yes, ma'am.
where you had also found the broken iPhone,
Yes, ma'am.
and where you had also found the skull cap.
Correct.
On a separate day, I believe, you did the Blue Star test, right?
Correct.
Now, so far, and correct me if I'm wrong, so far all the evidence that you collected has been from driver's side and back seat, right?
The styrofoam cup in the center console.
Yes, styrofoam cup in the center console, that's right there in the middle, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I've noticed, well, we pull it out later. It had a whole bunch of black smudges on it. Is that?
The styrofoam cup?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
What are the black smudges?
Black smudges are, I can speculate, I can't tell you exactly what they are.
The powder that you use is designed to attach to the remnants of oil from skin, right?
Oil from skin, any type of liquid that might happen to be around, any type of moisture.
So is it possible that all those smudges were from other people having handled that cup?
Possibility exists.
Okay. So we've got the styrofoam cup, we've got all the stuff in the driver's side door pocket, and we have that bloody sweatshirt in the back seat, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, at some point, you were asked to do a Blue Star test on you.
Yes.
And what does Blue Star do?
Blue Star reacts with latent blood, latent being hidden.
What do you, explain that for me. What is hidden blood?
If blood is blood that has been cleaned up or that you can't see because of the surface that it's on.
So, blood that had been cleaned off of there would show up with Blue Star? And you said what you do is you apply it, and what's the process?
The process is Blue Star comes in 2 separate tubes and they're tablets. There are 2 different types of tablets that create Blue Star. Those tablets are crushed. They're put into some form of a spray bottle. Distilled water is added to it. It is dissolved. Once it's dissolved, it is sprayed or misted onto an object you believe that there is hidden blood at. If there is hidden blood present, it will illuminate a blue glow.
And the reason we have some all black pictures are because when you apply that light source, the UV source, it didn't glow.
Correct.
Now I want to talk to you about where you tested it in that vehicle, okay?
Sure.
You tested on the passenger door inside panel.
I believe it was the passenger door seat.
That was next. The front passenger seat and the back seat.
Yes, ma'am.
You did not test the driver's seat at all.
No, I did not.
Had you been instructed not to test the driver's seat?
I was told to test the specific areas that I did test.
And the specific areas that you were instructed to test were on the front passenger seat, the front passenger door, and the back seat.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, those areas tested negative.
Yes.
We don't know what the driver's side would have tested at, right?
No, we did not.
Now, you also did that same Blue Star test on those gold sequins of boots.
Yes.
Now, you said if any blood had been on them and cleaned off, Blue Star would still pick that up.
It should, yes.
And you sprayed all over those boots,
Yes.
bottoms too,
Absolutely.
and you applied that same light source again, or UV source.
Correct.
And we have black photographs again,
Yes.
which indicates no reaction,
Correct.
which is negative results.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you test the broken iPhone with Blue Star?
No, ma'am.
Did you test the skull cap with Blue Star?
Did not.
Did you test the do-rag with Blue Star?
No.
Did you send the skull cap or the do-rag off for DNA testing?
I don't send it off for DNA testing. That belongs to the investigator of the case.
Did you take a DNA swab like you did with the sweatshirt?
No, I didn't. I didn't see any observed darker spots than normal.
That's all I have, Judge.
Any redirect?
Yes, Judge. Your Honor, Matt, I had one omitted question. What's by mistake, Judge?
Okay.
I'm about to publish what has been previously marked as Exhibit 58. Officer Gary, were you ever provided these boots to test with Blue Star?
No, ma'am.
That's all. So, someone would have to step in blood for it to be on the bottom of their boots. Is that correct?
That's one way, yes, ma'am.
But if they stepped in blood, then it might be on the bottom of their boots. Is that fair based on your CSI experience?
Yes, ma'am.
So if they shot and ran to their apartment, Your Honor, I'm going to object to speculation here.
Rephrase your question.
Based on your CSI experience, is it possible someone shot somebody and didn't have did not have blood on the bottom of their boots?
Yes, ma'am, that is possible.
Nothing further, Judge. Is it also possible that if someone had shot someone, they could have blood on their boots?
If they're wearing boots.
Given the person is wearing boots,
Yes.
and a blue star test would tell you that.
Possibly.
That's all I have. Nothing further, Judge.
Thanks, sir. All right, calling next witness. Officer Courtroom. Say Coburn. Coburn.
Step this way. Stand in a circle, take the judge, raise your right hand.
Your Honor, can we have 1 moment? I'm sorry, I just need to ask Mr. Beatty a question. There's 2 We may need to take them right back for just a second. Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to make sure we got everything in from our witness that we're supposed to have gotten in.
All right, you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth shall be done? Absolutely.
May I begin? Officer, can you say spell your name for the court, please?
Michael Coburn, MICHAEL,
And are you officer, sergeant? What,
Sergeant,
Sergeant Coburn, where are you assigned?
homicide,
How long have you been with the Memphis Police Department?
20 years.
And in your 20 years or prior to homicide, were you a crime scene officer?
Yes, sir.
And was that back in January 2016?
Yes,
Did you have occasion to work on a case that involved a soda restriction and green conduct?
Yes.
Can you tell this jury, starting at the beginning, what you did first in relation to that case?
Met by Sergeant J.K. Smith, and I started taking photos of the car,
Which car?
the silver Mitsubishi.
Okay. And I'm going to show you, we previously marked these without objection. I'm going to show you some pictures. Show you what's been marked as one second. These are representative. Those are the marks.
Let's start 76.
I'm going to pass you a group of photographs like this. Tell me if you recognize it.
Silver Mitsubishi.
Did you take those photographs?
This is it.
This is a true and accurate representation of each one of those of the things you observed that day.
Yes, sir.
And where are those photographs taken?
475 Clink inside the Crown City Tunnel.
Can you explain to the jury what Clink is? We just call it Clink, correct?
478 Clink is the address. It's a warehouse where the crime scene works out of, where vehicles, if they're going to be held for any kind of processing or anything like that, will be able to.
That's those photographs, I guess, collectively to make it easier to be marked up to the next number of exhibit. I think it was an oversight that they hadn't been before by both of us.
No,
I guess, Officer Coburn's pictures from clean of the silver Mitsubishi. And the
All right,
contents
it's
there.
going to be testifying from each one of them individually.
I mean, I'm gonna have them identify and explain each one of them, yes, sir. I was just trying to save time, we can do them.
No, I understand. I'm all for that. And in order to keep the record straight, we have to make them separate. So
Yes, sir.
next, how many were there? Count me, I count. Just go ahead and tag them right now.
I think it's 11.
that one's already been marked.
I'm going to show you, can you see the airport? I'm going to show you the mark exhibit number 137. You recognize that? Yes. And what is that in the clean? Also known as the tunnel, I guess?
Yes, sir.
And you treat that, I guess, kind of like a crime scene. You document things that you find there?
Yes, sir.
Show you this. Tell me what this is a picture of.
It's going to be the inside of the driver's door.
And that was, excuse me, exhibit number 136. I'll show you exhibit number 135. Recognize this?
Yes, sir. It's the driver's compartment showing the floor mat and the mud on the bottom around the threshold.
There at least should be, can you see this? There's something white kind of in the middle of it. What's that? That's my front leg part. Thanks to Dave. Something right there. Right there, what's that?
Cup.
Styrofoam cup?
Yeah.
You take a picture of it. And that was inside the middle of the Mitsubishi, correct?
Yes, the cup over.
Exhibit 134. What's that?
Picture of the floor mat with the mud, dirt.
Exhibit 133.
That's a picture of the inside of the driver's door pocket area.
Exhibit 132.
So that's just another picture from the passenger side, the front.
Done the same styrofoam cup in a couple.
Yes.
Exhibit 131. What's that?
It's a picture of the back seat, some clothing on the back seat.
Says in clothing. Can you point to that? Point out.
Right here.
And that does appear to be a black jacket or sweatshirt.
Yes.
Exhibit 130. 29.
It's a picture of the, closer picture of the cup holder, the styrofoam cup.
And Exhibit 128.
Another picture of the clothing from the passenger side.
And is that same black, I guess, sweatshirt and jacket thing in the back? Is that the only car that you process? Is it processing? Is that a fair term to use?
Yes, sir.
Is that the only car that you process at the tunnel?
No.
What else? Which other car do you process?
There's, Honda Accord.
These have been marked fairly quickly. That picture. That's exhibit, for the record, 78.
Yes, that's the car.
Exhibit 79.
It's from the driver's side.
Exhibit 80. Exhibit 81.
Yes, the driver's inside.
And did you notice anything, or do you see anything in there? Do you notice it?
Not in this picture, I don't think I've put anything on there yet. Like bullet holes, I believe.
Right. Exhibit 82. What's that?
On the armor.
No, I go back to exhibit 81. I'll go back. What's that? And then exhibit 82 or close of it.
Yes, sir.
We go to exhibit 83. What do you see?
There.
Exhibit 84. What's the left in that picture? What's that?
Right there's like a bullet projectile.
Exhibit 85.
That's front view of the car.
Exhibit 86.
No possible blood through here.
Exhibit 87.
Yeah, that's a cell phone as well.
And 88.
Picture from the driver's side, showing possible blood on the console. Emergency right here.
89.
There's a picture of the shooting from the left rear seat.
And 90.
That's from the passenger front.
Now I'm going to stop you right there for a second. Is that how you would, you document it as you find it?
No,
Okay.
I take general photos first.
That's what I, so do you photograph it as is?
Yes,
Or does the police department your experience in how many years?
20 years.
Okay. Do y'all move stuff around and do that, or would you take pictures of it first?
At the time it's in the, on the time that it gets to the crime scene warehouse, it's not touched alive to take pictures of it.
Okay. And what do you see in that picture?
A bunch of papers, you can see.
Can you tell what this is?
Looks like a receipt.
Okay. If I could pass this, did it at 9. You look real close and tell me what kind of receipt that is.
It's like a bank receipt to Regions Bank.
Thank you. And you said that was a Regions Bank receipt, right?
Yes, sir.
And this is in the passenger side of the green Honda?
Yes, sir.
Is it a 91?
This is bullet hole.
And 92?
That's mark number 1. Bullet hole.
Okay. This is a smart number 2, correct? By your passport. What?
Yes,
I know how to put that passport that. Exhibit number 92. The mark number 1.
yes.
And exhibit number 93. What's that?
I can't see in that picture.
Is it fair to say that would be a close-up view of inside the passenger?
Yeah, passenger car.
Same door.
That's a picture of mail and stuff that's on the seat, I believe.
95.
Small mail.
And 96.
Read these bank receipts.
Okay. And again, if something had been rifled through or whatever, that wouldn't have been something in your experience that the Memphis Police Department would do prior to taking these photographs.
I can't tell you that. It's just how it was when it was at the warehouse.
Okay. And 97
That's a projectile bullet from the seat.
inside the same car.
Yes.
98.
Driver's license, insurance card, cell phone, left front seat, code
99.
Same picture showing the case, cell phone case.
100.
That was same ID, insurance card, credit card.
And these were things that you come inside the green hub.
Yes.
101.
Bullet.
Sorry, I can't do
Left side of the front seat.
it. And 102.
Another bullet, right front seat.
103.
It's showing the bullet holes in the driver's door.
And you would have marked it.
Yes.
104.
I see blood right there. I don't know what that is.
105.
It's another bullet hole.
And those markers, you place it there as part of
Yes.
the process. 106. What's that?
It's a spent projectile inside that front door.
And that was
I had
that.
to go inside the door to get it.
You had to do what?
I had to go inside the driver's door to get it.
So, Sherry, how did you do that?
I just took the inside door panel off and looked down inside and it was inside the door. It didn't penetrate all the way through.
And 107.
The bullet on the right front seat under all those metal parcels.
108.
Be the tag to the onto that process.
And this is the same green Honda that all these bullet fragments came out of, right?
Yes, sir.
Same green Honda with the receiver sheet and the seat.
Yes.
Correct. 109.
It's the driver's side of the Honda. That's how it came to the warehouse.
110.
The logo of the front seat.
111.
Photo of the driver's seat showing possible blood there.
And 112.
Showing more blood. Clear the driver's seat.
113. You made a mistake when you not do different angles, I guess.
Yeah, this
So you
is
constantly take the pictures of the same area from different angles as
Yes.
crime spots.
That's what you take far away, close up, medium photographs.
And what's this?
This is the passenger front seat with all the mail on the seat.
114.
That's a projectile up there on the passenger seat under the mail.
115. Promise we're almost done.
That's the bullet that was found on the left side of the left front seat.
116.
And that was the bullet that was found on the right front seat under the mail.
117.
That's the bullet holes in the driver's door.
And
Marked by me.
that's what those markers indicate.
Yes.
And you would replace those markers.
Yes.
118.
Bullet holes in the way I marked them.
119.
That's bullet hole 2, marked as 2A.
And 120.
That's projectiles found just outside the left front door.
Now, I know you obviously take a lot of photos as a crime scene officer, right?
Yes.
What else is your responsibility? What else are your responsibilities as a crime scene officer?
Collect, tag, document, process evidence.
And did you do that for numerous items in this case?
Some items.
Some of those items were photographed.
Yes.
I'm going to pass you one envelope. Let me recognize some.
Yes, sir, it's the pre-spent projectiles attached with my initials and IBM on it.
And can you tell the jury what's supposed to be in that envelope?
Yeah, pre-spent projectiles closed.
Can you open it up and look inside? That appeared to be envelopes with 3 spent projectiles in it.
Yes.
And those would have been the 3 spent projectiles you were able to collect the tag from the green Honda.
Yes, sir.
As that would be the next number to the judge.
There's no objection, Your Honor. One second.
Thank you. Last question.
When you were processing the vehicle on January 22nd and January 23rd, I believe, did you collect any evidence?
Yes,
May I have this one? Do you recognize that?
yes, ma'am.
What is it?
The black car mat,
The black car mat for which vehicle?
Mitsubishi.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask that you made it, did it, be able to open it?
No objection.
Here's 139, the market first.
Yeah, let's go and mark it, please. Thank you. the jury exactly what's in that.
That's the driver's format of this garage.
Your Honor, could you please come with that, please? You wouldn't mind standing and showing us? Now that format is the same as this format, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And for the record, this is what has been previously marked as 134. And to back up, Exhibit 135 is a slightly further back picture of the same format, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And along here, there's also mud along the door threshold, right? And that's on the driver's side.
Yes, ma'am.
Also on the driver's side of the vehicle, you took this photograph. And this is still the Mirage, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is Exhibit 136. And Exhibit 133, is that a close-up of what you just looked at in 136?
Closer.
What is this a picture of? You may need to...
It's a black cell cab.
Thank you. And that was in the front driver's side door pocket.
Yes,
This is a photograph that you took, Exhibit 132. Correct? And that is a photograph of the front passenger side. Right?
passenger side, yes.
Now, you did not collect the format from the front passenger side
No.
because it was not covered in mud, right?
Correct.
And the threshold of the front passenger door is also not covered in mud, right? Well, we have this one up here. The styrofoam cup. You know where that cup came from?
No, I didn't.
Do you know how that cup got there? Do you know how many people touched that cup? You just know it was there when you got it, right? I would like to now switch over to the Honda, the dark green Honda. I found it. This is exhibit number 84. So this was possible spent projectile, possible blood. If I may direct your attention in this area. What is this silver stuff?
I don't know, it kind of was like broken glass, but I'm not sure.
If I may pass it forward, we're going to have a better look.
It's like broken glass to me.
That looks like broken glass, and that's in the Honda, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is a photograph that you took, thank you, of the front passenger side of the Honda. And you said this is the state that it came to you, is that correct? With the glove box open and the documents scattered around.
Yes.
And it looks like there's possible blood around here, and maybe possible blood on this envelope right here.
I'm not sure.
You may need to see the picture.
I need to see my report too.
Well, maybe I'll do you one better. Let's see here.
that pass this forward, Your Honor? This is exhibit number 95.
This one.
Is that an envelope that came from that pile of documents?
I would assume so. It's mail that was taken from the passenger seat.
And does that appear to have blood on it?
This one. Possible blood.
And that possible blood that we're talking about is right along here.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know who put those documents there?
No, I didn't.
And this is the front passenger seat also, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And these are the Regions receipts that you identified?
Yes.
Do you know how those got there?
No, I didn't.
Do you know when those got there?
No, ma'am.
And this right here, that's a spent projectile, right?
Yes.
And that spent projectile was under all of those documents?
Yes, ma'am.
Officer Coker, how long have you done CSI?
5 years, I think.
You'd be glad to know you got compliments. You're very good at preserving evidence. Very good at photographing evidence. And that's important, isn't it? Why is it important?
Just important to give everybody the way it was, the way the crime scene was when I got it.
The way it was. Without any bias. Right?
Sure.
An investigation is an investigation thorough if it's selective.
It has to be thorough.
It has to be thorough. Why does it have to be thorough?
Couldn't tell you that. I wasn't in charge of that investigation.
Do you normally photograph all of your searches?
Yes.
Do you do that whether you're told to or not?
Yes.
Is it uncommon to be told not to photograph?
Not uncommon, but there's a spot on our processing sheet that says photos, yes or no. So the investigator can say whether or not he wants them or not.
Did the investigator say on this one, or did you just decide?
I don't know.
If I may, one moment, Your Honor. In your processing of the Honda, do you recall the front driver's side window being broken?
Can't recall.
But you do agree with me that that one picture looks like there are glass fragments?
They look like pieces of glass.
When you do these investigations in the vehicles, we've talked about the importance of photographing the evidence. Do you do any testing of evidence?
And sometimes at the sergeant's request.
Okay, what kind of tests do you do in an investigation? What are you qualified to do?
Anything from chemical processing to powder
Okay.
to ALS, light source,
What is light source?
ultraviolet light, ultraviolet, other things.
That's the blue
ASR.
star.
What do you use the blue star shooter?
Are you qualified to do GSR?
Yes,
Did you do any GSR testing in this?
not to my knowledge.
Any of the clothing in the back seat? Did you request any GSR testing on?
It's not my responsibility to request that. It's the sergeant who's in charge of the case.
Did you receive any instruction to have the clothing in the car tested for GSR?
Not at that time.
Now, what is GSR?
It's a gunshot residue.
Okay. And that's the powder that comes out of the gun when it's fired, right?
But
Basically.
it actually comes out of the primary, where the firing pin strikes it.
And GSR can be located on clothing, right?
Possibly.
It can also be located on your actual hand.
This
That can be washed off though, right?
correct.
But to your knowledge, none of the clothes in the back of that vehicle were tested for GSR, at least in the investigation?
Not my investigation.
That's all.
Is it common in your years of experience to do GSR testing if somebody on a car or things in a car, if a gun's fired outside of that vehicle several feet away?
It depends on the investigative case. I mean, if they're outside the car, I wouldn't see any reason to.
Is there a further question?
Very briefly. Do you know if the clothing of the owner of the Mitsubishi was ever tested in this?
No idea.
Were you ever given any clothing to test?
That's great. Thanks, sir. Let's take a short bathroom break.
What is it, recess? Give you no.
Yeah, this one, Bob, I
And then Preston.